Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hey, this week we are talking about hillside stability and erosion control in a residential setting so that your property stays safe and you stay safe within your own home. We don't want to have any sort of catastrophic landslide type of situations. It's what we're covering here this week. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back and thanks for staying with me. Hey, if you can, at the end of this video, which I hope you stay till the end because there is a lot of good content and education here. I hope I've earned a subscription from you. I hope I've earned a like. And if you have somebody in your inner circle that could really use this information, please send it out to them and share it. This week we are talking about one of the top 3 problems that residential homeowners suffer from. And that is, what do I do with this hillside and how do I prevent it from eroding down into my backyard, washing out onto my patio or onto my driveway or any other of the scenarios that I've been subjected to as a consultant over the years. This is what we're tackling here today. We're going to go over a 3-pronged approach, very easy to remember and critically important to implement if you want to have a good, beautiful hillside landscape without any of the problems that can go along with it. If you look at Mother Nature, except in some of the most extreme conditions, like Western North Carolina with Hurricane Helene last year. If you look at Waverly, Tennessee, 3 years ago, 17 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. There is not a darn thing that anybody, yard coach or anybody else, is going to be able to mitigate those kinds of natural catastrophes. But your average rainy season, your average wet season and water that makes its way into your yard, certainly you can mitigate those things and get rid of problem hillsides once and for all. You know, many of us, hey, Maestro and I included, right here at Brook and Pond, we are on a hillside. We have a hillside, small one, behind the house. We have a small one that leads down to the pond. And we basically have a small hillside where the driveway is that goes all the way down to the road. So we do have hillside landscaping, and we've done some things here and there. The backyard where we had the hillside bed that we put in last year, it was just a naked, weed-infested bed before, and we came in and terraced it. We brought in some extra loam and lessened the slope, and we put some nice plant material that's getting mature last year and hopefully really mature this year. So we are very understanding in what it's like to landscape in a hillside environment. Now, let's talk about that 3-prong approach. Number 1, beyond anything else that you're going to do, is you are going to control water. If you control and manage the water that comes down this hillside and you evacuate it safe off of the property, 50% of the problem is instantly taken care of. You're going to put drainage according to the vertical height of the hillside, and the distance covered is going to make you determine how much drainage you're going to need to do. If you have a short hillside and kind of a lesser slope, French drain behind a small vertical wall is all you're going to need. But if you have a 40-foot long hillside and a 10 or 12-foot rise, then you might want to really consider doing drainage at the top of the hill, take it across the hillside, a solid pipe down another side, maybe along your fence line, and then a French drain system behind a retaining wall down at the bottom. So you're going to mitigate a lot of the inflow of the water, subsurface and surface, up top, and then you're going to capture what you don't get from up top on the hillside itself. You're going to evacuate it down below. Now you've kind of doubly ensured water management and control. And once that downslope solid pipe captures the 2 perforated pipes going horizontal, you can run that out to a safe evacuation point. Don't be like some people and evacuate it right to your neighbor's yard. It doesn't make for neighborly relations, believe me. And in our litigious society, you don't want to do that and get in trouble. So, number one, we're going to manage the water, both top and bottom. Number two is we are going to do some vertical retention. We're going to dig back into the bottom part of our hillside, the toe end of our hillside. We're going to dig out a trench, probably 12 inches minimum. We're going to gravel fill that trench just a little bit, just a wee bit, and really pack it down in to the natural soil in that trench. And then you're going to drape a nice geotextile fabric down in there. And now you're going to gravel that whole trench in till about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches before the top of that trench. And then you can lay in your stackable block. You can build your concrete foundation if that's what you want to do, or you can sink ground rated, pressure treated timbers in there to start your bottom retention. And you're going to go up as a DIYer no more than 4 feet. If you go over 4 feet, industry standard generally dictates that you have to have an engineered design and you have to submit it to local authorities, city or county, for permits and inspections. So remember the magic 4. Now, with that vertical retention being built up, you're going to want to do either one vertical wall, or consider 2, maybe a third or halfway up. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to dig into the hillside, you're going to dig down a trench about 12 inches, and then you're going to put the tailings uphill, put in your gravel, tamp it into the natural soil, geotextile fabric, gravel down within 6-8 inches of the bottom, and there's where your first layer is going to be put in. I'm a big fan of stackable block. I really am. And I think it works very well for the DIYer. So once we have our walls in place, you can backfill with more gravel right behind the base of the wall or walls, and you're going to create a slope across this hillside, and you're going to put in a perforated drain. Your perforated drain is, you can put a sediment sock on it if you'd like, or you can just use the geotextile, and you're going to kind of burrito wrap that whole perforated drain line behind there, and you're going to get your 1/8 to 1/4 inch slope all the way across, and then you'll connect it to your solid down pipe that's coming down the hill from up top. And then connect it, evacuate it safely. Then you can bring your other tailings down, you can backfill behind there. I would generally, behind a wall, I would consider maybe 12 to 18 inches of soil at the wall itself. The rest below that should be gravel. Then you have a great percolation of surface water that's going to go through the soil into the gravel and into the pipe very quickly. So, vertical retention, water management, those are the 2 prongs. Lastly is the greenscape. Just like any other project, your greenscape should be planned out and plotted out in a design format. For me, when I designed hillsides for folks, I never went big. I always went with smaller trees, smaller vertical type of bushes, unless there's a privacy issue up high, then you can do something up at the top to create some kind of a privacy screen. Shrubbery that was generally 3 feet or less, and then lots of ground cover and perennials. With the vertical retention in place and the water controlled through drainage, this makes a very good plant environment. It's not going to be soggy. And when you do your planting, I suggest that you start up at the top of the hill and work down so that your finished work is always up above you and the unfinished is going to be below you. If you do it in the opposite way, then you're having to work up through a finished product, which always ends up messing up water basins, and you end up caving in the up digging above the planting hole itself. So work up high and work down. Then come back in, throw in your irrigation horizontally if you need it, and mulch heavy. And I do mean mulch heavy. mulch heavy to the form of 3 inches minimum. It will compact down over one season by half, guaranteed. So now, there's your three-pronged approach. You have your water management, you have your vertical retention, and you have your planting plan. The plants should be the type that have very good, in often case, deep roots. That's why you don't spray irrigate hillsides, because that really encourages a very shallow rooted system for everything that's in there. A drip system is going to release water slowly, percolate deeper, and the roots will stay deeper. Very important concept. Spray 12 inches or less. Drip down to 2 to 3 feet sometimes, depending on the type of soil you have. So we've addressed the hillside landscaping problem. How do you make it look nice? And you've also addressed the erosion problem when it comes to the planting and the water management. You have to remember that a hillside landscape is a beautiful flat landscape that's tilted right in front of your eye. And it is some of the most beautiful landscapes that you can actually put in when it's done correctly. Remember the concept of the artist's palette tilted up. So you're looking at it from your family room window, when you're looking at it from your second floor master bedroom, and you're looking directly into that hillside. That's how much of a aha you're going to have from there. And it can be done incorrectly with poor plant selection, and it can be done with too big of stuff. You have to remember that the actual planting of the hillside itself is a disturbance of the hillside. And you want to get it in preferably earlier in the year and let it mature over at least 3/4 of a season, 3/4 of a calendar year before wet comes in. So with that in mind, the three-pronged approach to hillside stabilization and erosion control is water management, vertical retention, and a good planting plan. I hope you've learned a little something here. I sure enjoyed bringing it. Hey, take a second and visit the website, youryardcoach.com, where I do have some products and services there that can really help you when it comes to this particular problem or any other landscape issue. Consultations, books, courses, checklists, etc. Very useful items there. If you have any question for me directly, youryardcoach@gmail.com. I appreciate your time. I hope I've got a subscribe from you, and I'll catch you guys next week. As always, to your landscape success, and goodbye for now.